Well, I think that I had to get very focused on money and not in a bad way. Just in dance, it was always
Yeah.
pursue your passion. And then it was, okay, but we got to pay rent. So how are we going to okay, we have to, there needs
Shit
to
got
be,
real.
oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
very real. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, well, I can twirl on my toes, but I can't, pay a bill. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Miss Parker, how we doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am amazing. I am amazing. I'm excited to talk to you for so many reasons. Before I do, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out. It is my nephew's birthday today. Brian Walden. People know him as Black Mannequin. It is actually his birthday today. I already texted him. I didn't do it on the social media, but I am doing it on my live. So shout him out. Happy birthday.
Happy
Also,
birthday.
right. We won't sing it unless you want to sing it, but we won't sing it. But we'll say happy birthday to him. Enjoy your day. And then also, Taste of Motorsports, August 30th. I mean, exotic cars, gourmet food, and your boy. So it doesn't really get any better than that. It's going to be in Portland. I'm going to fly in. I will be there.
Ooh.
And yeah, so I gotta come support my hometown. But now, Brand Talk Live with the Abigail Parker. Let me see. I'll let you introduce yourself, but let me get my introduction out. Um,
Okay.
Fitness savant.
Okay.
Uh, Let me see. Whatever. You definitely make it happen. And on running ambassador, fitness guru, whatever. How you doing?
I am doing well, and thank you so much for having me on. I've been
Yeah.
looking forward to this all week, so thank you.
There you
Um,
go. I've been looking forward to it too. I'm sorry. Keep going.
yeah. So I love fitness. My background is in ballet,
Okay.
so always loved movement from a young age. And then when I came out to Portland, I transitioned into fitness, and it's been a bit of a wild ride since then, but started my own business for personal training and recently have started to expand into other movements, trying to create a common theme of self-acceptance,
Love it.
empowering women, and helping them embrace their bodies.
Yeah.
So it's been a really interesting journey, but yes, make it
Dude,
happen for sure.
make it happen for sure. You know what? That's actually so. I named this Embrace Change, which is the
Mm,
perfect segue. I appreciate the alley oop. 'Cause I was gonna say that in the opening, but you are the founder of the Embrace Change movement, right? Creator.
mhm.
Um, and the thing is, I feel like that's such an applicable aspect of people's lives right now, right? Not only just the aspect of like you said, everyone loving their body type. But let's be honest,
Mhm.
we're in COVID, you know what I mean? So that is a change that none of us expected, or at least, and we're forcing to change a lot more rapidly. One of the things I was
Mhm.
also excited about you mentioned is you started businesses, and you've never been one that shied away from the ability to pivot and making decisions and going. And so I definitely want to talk about like that mindset. Is that something that you always had? Is it something that you had to like build upon? Like, have you always been someone that has embraced change? Because I know a lot of people, they resist it, and I want you to like really dive into it tactically, like how you became someone
Mhm.
that's willing to pivot and actually embrace change.
That's a really good question. That's a great question. I would say that no, I have not always liked change. In fact, um, as someone who really values control at all
You,
times
hold
in
on,
their
hold on, hold
life.
on, hold on. Stop right there. Are you telling the people, Abigail Parker, you would like to be in control of things? Is that what you're saying?
Listen, listen.
Because people might think control and change are diametrically opposed. I just want to get clarity before we like dive deeper. Are you saying that you like to be in control and you also embrace change?
Yes,
Okay.
I absolutely. I think that I have had to really work on embracing that things are not going to go exactly my way, and
Mm-hmm.
being receptive to, okay, so plan A is not going to work, but that's
Yeah.
okay, because maybe plan B is meant to be like that's the way that you were supposed to do it anyway.
Exactly.
It's
I
kind of
always
like
say
what
I always say things happen for you, not to you. And obviously that's a mindset shift.
exactly.
But I feel like part of that is understanding that, yeah, you have your intentions of how you want it to go. And I think it's more important to know the destination as
Mhm.
opposed to being so focused and stick to the path and how you get there, right? Because
Mhm.
none of us know the path that will take us there necessarily, but we know the destination we're trying to get to. And having the ability to pivot, change, reassess, reiterate, whatever, like you said, can it end up being like a better way than you thought of initially?
Right. Yeah, I trained my whole life to be a ballerina, and that was my dream.
Yeah.
And so when I came to Portland and um, the company that I was a part of, it didn't work out. And I was basically, okay, here I am in Portland. I don't know a soul. I have no job, no money, no nothing. And
Wow.
this is not the plan,
Yeah.
which was devastating in every way. You pour hours into something and then it doesn't come to fruition, and that's really difficult.
Hmm.
Um, but what I realized is that I can transfer whatever I've learned from ballet training into whatever I'm doing for the future. And that all translated into fitness and the discipline and just attention to form and so many other things that I learned during my career that I've been able to it's helped, right? Even in the story of ballet to barbells and
Yeah.
overcoming eating disorders and embracing strength as opposed to constantly trying to cram myself into a tiny box of what's considered to be perfect.
Well, we don't like boxes over here, hence the name Unboxable. So we hate boxes. We
No.
hate the idea of boxes. We don't like limits or ceilings. But yeah, let's talk about that because I had a conversation the other day and I said essentially everything is connected in some way. And like in all these subsidiary aspects or everything's all these experiences from our past really help formulate and really expand and elevate what we're currently doing. So what are some of, I know obviously the practice and the discipline, but what are some of the other things that you were unaware of from ballet that is helping you within your fitness and training and the other things you're doing?
um, well, I think that I had to get very focused on money, and not in a bad way. Just in dance it was always
Yeah.
pursue your passion, and then it was okay, but we got to pay rent, so how are we gonna like okay, we have to there needs
Shit
to
got
be
real.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
very real. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, well, I can twirl on my toes but I can't pay a bill, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
um so that was the biggest hurdle I think to overcome, was in 2018 when I was starting to set up my personal training business and just doing a deep dive into how do you set, how do you do networking, clients, how to set up appointments, a website, and how to create that momentum. That was when I was just binging on Gary Vee all every night. I was just like,
Yeah.
I gotta learn this. So I
So
think
so no, I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going. I apologize.
oh no, that was pretty much it. Just the money aspect of it.
Yeah, no, well, I want to talk about that though, because again, I feel like there's a certain level aspect, and I say like there's a certain level aspect of genius in naivete, right? And not knowing. Obviously, you could translate ballet, although you look at ballet and personal training, and you look at how your physique has changed, it's totally different. But like you said, the discipline, the just the work ethic, and everything that goes within being a ballerina, definitely translates to being a personal trainer, being healthy, and fitness wise. However, the business side is totally different. It seems like it was totally foreign. Talk about that because I feel like a lot of people right now, like I said, I mentioned it numerous times, they're in COVID. Their side hustle is becoming a main hustle. Even if they are blessed enough to still have their existing job, maybe the hours have gone down, so they're looking at starting something that they're passionate about. Talk us through that, like the genius of naivete. So you just do whatever, I would imagine, but also just like going and starting and pivoting. Again, this whole thing we're talking about is embracing change. Like, how are you able to do that and become successful?
Right. Absolutely. It's a great point. I think it's kind of when you first start a car and you put your key in the ignition and there's always that initial resistance, right? The car doesn't like actually want to turn on. So it's kind of like, "Argh."
Yeah.
That's when you got to just when you're first starting your business, I mean, I did not, I got up, worked on my business, worked on it all day, worked on it all night. And it's a grind that I was familiar with from
Mm-hmm.
dance, of
Yeah.
just, I knew how many hours it was going to take to become good at something.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so I think that there is a level of sacrifice that is required that sometimes people don't really talk about with just, on a Friday night, I wasn't going and hanging out with anyone. I was at my computer trying to learn how to do a spreadsheet, trying to set up appointments on the phone with people that I trusted who had set up businesses. Hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do that? And I think circling back to something you said about the destination or your why, that was the most important thing for me to solidify, because I was like, I want to be financially independent. I want to own my own business, and I want to create something where I get up every single day and I go, I'm excited to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are days when I wake up and go, woo, I don't know if I want to hold an plug today or teach someone how to do a lunge.
You just need more coffee that day.
Stop. I'm already at like my cap for coffee. I can't do more.
You can't exceed it. You can't add another cup in the morning, another cup of Joe.
We might have to start going to Red Bull or something to feel stronger.
Oh my goodness. I feel you. I go back and forth. I quit, coffee. I quit energy drinks, and then I it just pulls me in. It pulls me right back. It's like I just go in and out. It's like a jumping jack. I just go in, I get out, whatever. I'm seeing double dutch. Let's talk about something that I know you're familiar with, and honestly, it's one of the reasons why I started before this Style Speaks and now Brand Talk Live. Besides the fact that it's a branding and business, I want to give people a realistic idea of what it takes. Because people will see you and they just think, oh, Abigail Parker, she's with On Training. She started this event. It's easy. She has people. She has photographs. People come to their events. Yada, yada, yada. And they think it's easy. And you mentioned something that I can relate to. People are like, oh, Brandon, you're on TV. You do parties. Da, da, da. Yo, I was at home on Friday nights reading business books. Like, I had a goal one year. Literally, I'm not someone in the soup that's in New Year's resolutions. I feel like you can start a resolution whenever you want to. But I did have a New Year's resolution of reading a book a week, and that's because I heard the top CEOs did. Now I got up to I ended up reading about 40 plus books a week. Not 50, but literally, I'm reading. You're out partying, right? Like, you cannot cheat the hustle. So let's talk about the amount of time you put in, but also now that you've done these other things, like peel back the blinds on the behind the scenes that people don't see, that it takes to see what they see on the surface.
Wait,
before you go into that, so I want to say I have this with me.
Yes.
So usually on these shows, I'm drinking water if it's in the morning, and if it's in the evening, I might have a drink. You know what I mean? I might have a drink. It is hot out here. I'm having a drink. But today, I have protein.
Yay!
So I could not have a show with a fitness trainer and not drink protein instead. And I did run this morning, by the way. You can send me my shoes. We can talk about a whole bunch of other things. Plug. But yeah, so back to my question. Talk about the work ethic it takes to make things happen. Yeah. As I shake my cup.
If you do want a pair of shoes, just send me your size, because they're emptying out the warehouse right now and they might have a couple extra pairs.
See, This is a lesson, people. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. I am telling you, this is a live lesson. Everything I've ever got, there is genius and audacity too. There's genius and naivete, and there's genius and audacity. Ask for what you want, and it will happen. And I will be letting you know my size. You know what I mean? So there you go. But enough about my shoes.
Yes, the hustle. Well, I think that the hustle for me started probably when I was 13. My dad wanted me to do really well in school, and my mom wanted me to be great in art, dance, acting, singing, you name it, I was doing it. So basically my whole high school, it was just years were spent either in the books or at ballet or, taking lessons always. My parents were extremely focused on me excelling in every single area that was there. So I was used to constant do this, do that, do this, do that. And when I chose ballet as my career, it was the same thing. You know, you get up early, stretch, you get to class, you have rehearsal for 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 hours, you have a second class, and then you go back home. And then at the time, I would be a hostess at the restaurant downtown. So I would go and then hostess till like midnight or 1.
And this is back east, right?
Yeah.
Let the people know. Let the people know. We have, you know, we represent all over. This is New York, right?
Yes.
See you. I've had you on. I had Dr. B on. She was from New York. I have my guy Asker from New York. Yo, we all over. But keep going. I had to say that.
Yeah. So I did that. It was constant, you know, just constant activity. So I think I was used to that. And then when I came out to Portland and started teaching group fitness, I was teaching about 38 group fitness classes a week. And at the time, the studio owners said, you know, you're really young, you're 20, but we feel like you're good at business, and we're not sure why, but we just have this feeling that you are. Okay. And we want you to run our social media and do our client follow-up. So I would teach all day, and then I would go to Starbucks and I just do client follow-ups all evening. And my main goal was that, well, I listened to a podcast that said you can be anything you want to be if you work hard enough. And for me, it was like, okay, challenge accepted. And it was such an interesting time because I didn't go to college. I went right into professional dance. And my dad was devastated because at the time, college was it. You didn't not go to college and expect to be successful. Yeah. And then when whole, entrepreneurs and Gary Vee and all these people, and I was just reading their stories, and I was like, wow, Gary Vee started in a wine shop. What can I do? Like, can I do that? And I was determined that if I, put in enough hours, then I was going to get somewhere. But, oh my gosh, I mean, well, we can also talk about burnout because I got that several times. Yeah. trying to do too much and trying to do too many things.
How do you self-regulate? How do you know when you've hit? Do you recognize it? Like, I know with me, certain aspects, like there's pattern recognition, right? Once you've done it enough times, you like realize, okay, I'm getting close to that part. And there was times where really I would just go, and then I'd be sick for a couple of days or whatever. And yes. I'm one of those people, when I'm sick, I'm a baby. I'm not going to front. I shut down. Like, if I feel anything in my throat, I am ODing. I don't care if you're a health facility. I'm ODing on NyQuil. I'm ODing on everything because I don't want to be sick, but I kill it like in a day or two, and then I'm good. But have you kind of recognized when you're getting close and kind of pull back a little bit, or is it still something you deal with?
Yeah, this was a really hard lesson to learn. I also had some issues with attaching my ego and my self-worth to how much I did. I think that I had reached an unhealthy level of being competitive with other people. Mm-hmm. And I was also desperate to prove that I was not a failure. Yeah. I mean, I was desperate. I was like, coming from like the girl who was like, yeah, like she made it into professional ballet, but then things didn't work out. And, she's what are you going to do with your life? And so I feel like I let all of the wrong things motivate me forward. And it was so evident in my energy. Like people would, you're so intense. Like, what? Calm down. And on the inside, I was like, don't you understand that I'm fighting for my life? Like, you don't, this intensity is coming from my will to survive. And I wasn't about to let anybody help me either, because I was way too prideful to let anyone in to help.
What is help? What is help? Who does that?
I know. I was like, I was like, I will call for help when I have a sword in my shoulder and I'm bleeding out. And then I'll probably an hour later go, hey, so I have this situation.
Right.
I'm like bleeding to death. Hi,
There you
help.
go. Yeah. But okay, but so you get through that, right?
I
And
got
and
that.
and
Yes.
and
Thank you,
and, and, and
therapy.
so I want to talk, how did you get through it? And then also I want to talk about competitiveness in a good way,
Okay.
because there's a positive. I'm extremely competitive too. So there's a positivity to it, but how did you actually get through that aspect of like overcoming, realizing like, okay, this is on a whole nother level. This is a little bit more than it should be. This is a little bit unhealthy. Like, how did
Mm-hmm.
you reel it in? Um,
Mm-hmm.
how'd you reel it in?
Well, I think first and foremost, I started realizing that I would rather let my personal relationships with people suffer so that I could go and work on my own pursuits. And over
Mhm.
time, that, you know, I just started to realize that I was completely neglecting the people who had poured into my life and who had loved me unconditionally. And I was so hell bent on making it happen that I wasn't giving them the care and attention that they needed. And I realized, and like at the end of the day, you can have all the success in the world, you can have it all, but it's the people, it's the people that you're able to reach and impact and make their lives better. And I was like, wait a second, am I here for me and my show and my success and my whatever, or am I here so that at the end of my life I can look back and go, I helped these people feel a little bit better about themselves that day. And that became my new goal for personal training. I said, I'm going to make this session today is going to be a highlight of this person's day. It's going to be the high point, something that they love.
Which is surprising, because I would think when they're done is the highlight, right? After they made it through
Okay,
this
it's love
this
hate.
intense
Love
workout
hate.
session, like for example, I'll look at it in the terms of like roller coasters. Like I hate roller coasters, and now people
Yeah,
like they love it, they like
me
the
too.
adrenaline. I'm like, no, they're misinformed. They don't actually like the feeling. No one likes that feeling. It's
No.
that when it's the euphoria once they're done, and they're like, oh shit, I just did that. I feel like that's what it is for your workouts. Like, they don't like the workout. It's like they're done and they're like, oh damn, now everything else is easy. Now it's smooth sailing for the rest of the day because I got through that hell, however long it is. But back to competition being good.
Yeah.
Because it is a fine line, right? And actually, you said that, I can relate to that. There's people that I'm close to, because when you are super ambitious,
Yeah.
right? Um, and you're self-aware enough to know how much it's going to take to actually obtain your goals. Like, it
Yes.
is like a constant like focus, like an obsession
Mhm.
almost, if you will. And it's very easy to get wrapped up in that and forget about maybe even your why you're doing it, not only why you're doing it, but who you're doing it for. And I
Mhm.
know one thing for me is like, okay, how do I incorporate, or how do I include the people that are closest to me? But we all have to do it, and we learn through it, and we kind of, and there is no such thing as balance, really. When you're super ambitious, there is no such thing as balance. It's like, how do you, pour into all the different aspects at different levels at different times. You kind of adjust, and you keep on like learning
Mhm.
how to do that. But competition
Mhm.
is a good thing. Talk about
Yeah.
your competitive nature, because again, I would argue that part of the reason why you've been able to do some of the things you've been able to do in such a short time is because your level of competition. And that's probably also, people would think stereotypically, is not as common coming from a female. So talk about that. Your competitive nature and how it's helped you progress. Also, how do you deal with, and I might know the answer already, but how do you deal with the pushback of being a woman that is as competitive and as intense as you are?
Yeah. Woo. Oh my. Well,
We're asking real questions here. It might be 9 o'clock in the morning, but
these
we're
are
asking real
these are
questions.
amazing questions. These are great questions. So thank you.
Yeah.
So the competition obviously started for me very young in dance,
Yeah.
but it also, I think, there was a couple mentors in my life who really developed this unhealthy feedback loop of when I looked a certain way, did my hair a certain way, wore makeup a certain way, or I was constantly improving, they would go, "Good job, Abby." And so I started seeking that. Like, it was like rewards of that. I'm doing a good job.
The acknowledgement.
There'd be times I'd be in class and I'd tally up how many compliments other girls got. And I tallied up mine. And if I had a lower number, I would go into the hallway and cry after class because I had failed. But because I wanted to be the best in class. I was like, I want to be the best. But it was all for unhealthy validation, not in that, like, okay, progress is not linear. It's all over, and accepting that. At the end of the day, I think that competition with yourself is the only healthy competition there is. And because you only know you and how many different factors of life you are dealing with. And no one else sees that. On social media, you get a 16th of what's going on in someone's life.
Yeah.
And
it's the best part.
Right. Absolutely.
It's the highlight reel.
It's the highlight reel, which is actually why I opened up about having so many eating disorders in the first place on social media, because I was sick and tired of feeling like I was projecting this, like, has it all together healthy fitness trainer. And I'm like, hi guys, I like binged for 7 years. Like, I don't know, I wanted to be vulnerable about that on social media with other people looking at it so that they would feel too. It's like, no one has it all together. Absolutely not.
You know what? And what's interesting about that is everyone's so scared or fearful of sharing those things about themselves, not realizing that typically those are the things I realized that got the most reaction, the most responses. I liken it to, like, when I sing in the car or whatever, like, the more real you are as a person, the more people can relate to you and they understand. And actually the opposite is true. Instead of being fearful, you actually to lean into that more, because people actually respect it and care more. People are better than what we give them credit for. You know what I mean? Like, overall, like, people are more caring, more sympathetic, more empathetic, et cetera, et cetera. But we always, like, we forget that and we want to hold it in close. And then it's also so freeing just to get it out. Like, when you're carrying it all in, like that weight is heavy. Like, it's a lot better when you can just get it out and be like, okay, breathe easy, you know what I mean? And go on.
Yeah.
So I just had to add that because it made me think about it.
That's great. I used to just bottle.
Speaking of, hold on, I gotta say something. My guy Arun, when you said take time with people that support you, my guy Arun, he's actually just mentioned, that's my guy. I haven't seen him in a minute. I'm gonna be back in a few weeks. I hope you're gonna be a taste. We gotta connect. We used to do the Suit Sip together. Man, I haven't seen my people in a while. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah. So I think the second part of your question was with being a
female that's intense and as competitive as you are.
Right.
What is that like, both for males, females, corporate? Like, what? And you're young, relative. You're young. What is that like dealing with that? Because I'm sure on certain levels, you know what I mean, is praise, but I know on other levels, you probably get a lot of pushback and a lot of side eyes. So, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's been extremely difficult. I have often been a target for even my own employers would almost, it seemed like there was constant tension because I didn't know how to soften my approach, and I would always just say it how it was. Because I don't know if that's the Enneagram 8, but we're brutally honest to a fault.
Is that your Enneagram? You're 8?
I'm
a 3. I'm a 3. I'm a 3. I'm a 3 to 3. I'm a 3 and I'm a Capricorn, so I'm like double negative in that regard. Or if it depends on how you look at it. I think it's amazing, but and that's the only one I really know about is the 3s.
Yeah, it's fine. 8s are just super headstrong and have little temper outbursts. It's wonderful.
There you go.
But they're also very. It's funny. when you look it up, it tells you like the strengths and weaknesses of each sign. And it said my core fear was that someone was going to hurt me. And it's so true. I think that's why
Gotcha.
I've always put up walls and tried to be super tough and like
Mhm.
intense, because I'm so frightened that someone's going to see inside and be like, oh, she's actually just like a bleeding heart. Oh, we can take advantage of this.
Yeah.
So I have had to learn, and I'm continuing to learn, how to be softer, recognize when I'm getting too intense. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I literally was like, Abby, back off. Like, just, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to drill this person, especially when they haven't asked for your advice.
Yeah.
Don't give
You
people
went to
advice.
100 real quick. Have you ever read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Okay, so I've gone through the first couple pages, but I
Okay.
have not read it.
It's an amazing book. Not from a manipulation standpoint, but just from the perspective of having empathy for the person you're speaking to, and also just speaking to them in a way that they're open and receptive. Like, I feel like so many times people will talk to someone or talk down upon someone, and their intentions may or may not be good. The problem is the delivery, right? And so it's like, and let's be also frank, sometimes you get to let people get out their own way. Like, a lot of the things I do, like wardrobe and fashion and styling, is to allow people to get out of their own way, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time present myself in a way that's going to give me the greatest opportunity possible. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving them their greatest fighting chance for themselves. And I take that back to having a conversation with someone. When you're trying to get your point across, if you can
Yeah.
try to think first of how they're receiving it, or if you were on their end, and it sounds so simple, but it's a lot harder to do in the present time. But when you can do that, people are more open to have a conversation, even if you have differences of opinion, because
Yeah.
now you're stating it and communicating in a way that they're willing to hear it.
Yes. Yes. Oh, 100%. One of my clients said something to me, oh, it must have been a year ago, but it really stuck with me. She said, you know, Abby, everything that you just said to me was so on point. I just wish that you could have said it a little more gently. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, shoot, you're right. And she's like, you're just a fireball. Don't be afraid to cover that up with a little honey. I was like, okay, sounds good. But I think that everyone has to have that level of self-awareness, which is I feel like that's been my word of the year, of just becoming more self-aware. Okay, what are my triggers? Am I getting too intense? Am I handling this situation with empathy? Am I actively listening, or am I just calculating what I'm going to say in my head and I'm not actually listening to the person?
Yeah.
Like, all of those things.
So many levels. And also, and then it depends on the person too. Because
Right.
some people you can take it there with, especially being a coach, which you know this, you can take it there with, and some people you can't. So you come to Portland, never been a trainer before in your life, become a trainer, outwork everybody, do social media. Let's talk about some of the things you're doing now, because again, like I said, embrace change. You've embraced a whole bunch of changes coming and going from being a ballerina or supposed to be in college. Now you're a personal trainer in Portland, Oregon, never been here before in your life. And now you're embracing that. What are some of the things you've done? Because like I said, what I said from the get is you have done things and you do them. Like, there's no like whatever. And I feel like a lot of people, they're either fearful of
Mhm.
failure. Some people are fearful of success. There's that too.
Mhm.
They don't want to be seen, weak. And so how have you been able to be so quick to adapt and change and pivot? And then let's talk about some of the things you're actually doing right now, like Embrace You.
Yeah. Um, well, I think that I think that my faith is very important to me, in that it gives me direction and purpose, in that I know that I'm here on this earth to help other people and to make their lives better. And because that's very clear in my brain, it was always, okay, how am I going to use personal training or Embrace You? Everything that I'm doing is going to improve someone's life.
Mm.
So there was never really much guesswork because for me, I thought to myself, well, if I hold back even a day, then maybe someone won't, like, they're not going to get the benefit of whatever I can provide, which maybe it's a little harsh to say, but it's almost selfish. Like, you are so unique, your gifts, no two people are alike.
Mhm.
And holding back because afraid of failure, you want to fail as hard and fast as you can, get it out of the way, just try
No,
everything.
absolutely. And
Try
I have to, you said something that was amazing. You said the longer you take to get it out, the less other people are benefiting. And I
Yes,
feel like if people look at it from that perspective, you know what I mean? From, your gifts that you are privy to, you need to share those with other people. And if you can
yes,
you can not be selfish and be more selfless. It's if you can turn it where it's less about you and more about them, you
yeah,
realize that anything that you're offering is going to be a benefit. And the quicker you get it out, the more you can improve. And so then it's going to be that much better, that much quicker. Is how what I feel about
right. At the end of the day, it's you're offering value to other people, and it's not about it's not about how great you can be. It's strange. The more selfless you become, it's almost the things that you're working on, they just grow and flourish. Like, I feel like the more I'm focused on serving and
it.
being
Yeah.
a servant and caring less about like what am I going to get out of this, right?
You know
Um,
what? Like honestly, and I say it, I'm going to reverse what you're saying. The most selfish thing you can do is to be selfless. Like if you really are for yourself and that is really and that's all you care about, the most selfish thing you can do is to be selfless because when you give to other people, when you pour into other people, when you care about other people more, like the rewards come back. It's like I always say also like karma is undefeated. Like when you put good out, good comes back to you. And so if you constantly are in a situation where you're actually giving out, it's inevitable. Like I don't know if you ever read this thing. It's called oh man, Ralph Waldo Emerson. It is. I don't know why you're making me think of all these books and passages, but it's like the essay on compensation. And anyway, it's like a long ass essay. I read it like every 3 months. But in it, it talks about any individual cannot be cheated. Essentially, it talks about the ebbs and flows of the world, and you can't be cheated and whatever, whatever, whatever. But essentially, like karma is undefeated. Like anything you put out, don't put it out from the perspective of a what can I get from it, or a this is I'm putting out too much good, I'm not receiving enough back. Like no, you're gonna receive
that's
it back,
yes,
right?
yes,
And it might not come back from the person you're giving to. That's the other thing. Like you can't give with the idea of I want this person to give back to me. A lot of times the person you're pouring into, that person or someone else or someone above you is actually going to pour into you because the person that you're pouring into might not be capable of sending it back towards you, if that makes sense.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, no,
It has to be unconditional service, which is another lesson that I had to learn because I started thinking like, okay, so if I do X, then this person will do X. And that is nope, nope. You
no,
have to be willing to show up regardless, to be kind regardless, and not hold grudges. The quicker you can let it go, the better it's going to be. Don't, because once again, you only know so much about someone's life. And so you might have a story in your brain about like, well, they haven't gotten back to me or like haven't helped me out and I've done all this for them and da 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 da. No, just stop. You're going to torture yourself
oh, without question.
trying to get instant gratification and return for your good works. And that's not even the point. That's not even why you do them.
No,
So,
absolutely. And I'll add on to that from like even like a sales or just marketing perspective. Don't say no for somebody else. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Like so many times people, like you said, thinking too much into the situation and overthinking it. And they actually say no for the other person. And the person's not even saying no. Like the other person will say yes if you present it to them in a way. Or it could be something that they're just busy or something else is going on. And they just like case in point, I had a prospective client, met up, whatever, talking about getting together. So we haven't talked. I've been traveling, whatever, whatever. And literally, we were messaging. I was messaging her. I didn't take it personal. Like, I don't take it personal. So I'm messaging her because I know the person anyway. And she's like, hey, I just had a loss. You know what I mean? And I've been kind of off the grid. You know, but I'm saying that that's extreme. But I'm saying that to say, and this was over a couple
No,
week period.
totally.
Um,
Yeah.
had
Mhm.
I been like, oh, she's blowing me off. Oh, she's
Yep.
not interested anymore. Oh, whatever. This is not the typical, transaction. This is not how it goes. I would have just stopped reaching out, and then it would have, you know what I mean? I would have lost that potential client and that potential, relationship of something that I created. And I would have said no for her as opposed to her actually saying no. So don't say no for the other person in any aspect. Just like me asking for those shoes. I wasn't going to say no for you. I was going to put it out there and let you make a decision. And lo and behold, now I got shoes coming.
Lo and behold.
There you go. So take this time. I want you to be selfish for a second. Talk about embrace you. I'm going to force you to talk about it. What is it? How'd you start it? Tell me about it. For the people that don't know, say a lot of people in the back. What is embrace you?
Embrace you is, I think, I call it like my soul project, because it's everything. Let's see, about a year ago, I was in fitness, but I still wasn't healthy. I was still obsessed about food. I was constantly trying to almost excessively work out, because I was now trying to keep up with a new physique, and then new things crept into my head of what I needed to do. And so I went and I got a piece of paper and I wrote out, "You are worthy." And then I just wrote #embrace you. And I put it in my kitchen, and I thought, okay, if I look at this enough times as I walk into my kitchen, then maybe I'll actually believe it. And I had a couple people ask about the sign, like, "Oh, what is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's about embrace you." And as I started thinking about it, I thought, I need this. This embrace you, the embrace you movement is everything that I've been working on since I came to Portland, of just starting to be comfortable in my own skin, recognizing that I don't have to fit a certain mold, letting go of jealousy, bitterness, competitiveness, and instead seeing, my fellow sisters in my community, I need to bring these women up. I need to stop worrying about the scarcity, and I need to be putting people on a pedestal, a platform, and going look at how great these people are. This is not going to detract from me, right? Celebrating other people's wins is not going to take away from me in any way.
Not at all.
And then we did this. I had a couple of my dear friends, all girls, we all gathered at a studio and we did a photo shoot. And it was a fitness photo shoot. And then at the end of it, I had everybody write a positive affirmation on a piece of paper, and we went around the circle. And we were in that room for probably 3 hours. There was not a dry eye left in the room, because it was such a safe space, and we were able to share and open up about, our journey.
Okay, don't start crying on the show. I can't. I have allergies. I have allergies, people. I have allergies.
I'm getting emotional because I love this project very, very, very much. And the thing that women have said to me about how their mindset has changed, and the freedom that they've experienced since starting the journey of self-love is it's everything to me. So that's what Embrace You is. And we started a merch company along with it. So we did cute little crop top.
Now give us a timeline. I want to give context. Give us a timeline of when this actually launched. And it's going to lead to my next question.
Yeah. So Embrace You. I love to write. I love writing. So I would just write tons of captions about not only. I would always try to do side by sides of this is what my body was, this is what my body used to be, and then try to share a story. And then in January, I'm trying to remember, it was January of this year that I just said to my friend, I said, "Wow, we should do hoodies." And he said, "Okay, well, here's your design." And then I was like, okay, time to make it happen. So picked out a hoodie, and I just posted one photo of the hoodie on my Instagram stories in January. And I went to bed, and the next morning I woke up and there were 30 people in my DM saying, "We want a hoodie." And I was like, oh my gosh,
what is
this is crazy. This is crazy. And they were from all over. So my friends back east, people I didn't even know were like, we want a hoodie. And so we made like, I think we did 35 or 40 for the first drop. And then I carried all of them to the post office, and I like put little love notes in them of like, you're beautiful or you're worthy. And we shipped them all out. And then we did another huge round. So it wasn't until March, I think, that we actually started the Instagram page for Embrace You.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's do dance classes. So then all the ladies came to dance classes, and those were really fun too. Very fun. And so we did our dance classes, and it was just, and then, you know, I had 74 orders in, and then something called the coronavirus came in.
Yes. So before you go into that in detail, two things. Obviously, stay open. Like we talked about earlier, like we know the destination, we don't necessarily know the path. Like at the time, I'm sure you didn't think like I'm going to start selling merch,
No.
It worked, and you adapted, and you sold out, and you were selling like hotcakes, right? Like you sold way more than I did.
It was wild. It was
it was wild. Like it was like, and then COVID happened, right? This thing called COVID. So how have you adapted? What are some things that you've learned, and what are some aspects that you changed within your business that you'll actually hold on to going forward that will actually make you stronger coming out of it? Because like I said, there's opportunity in chaos. There's aspects we're going to learn. Like let's not be fake. Like it's shitty right now. Like it is. Like it's terrible. I would rather be out hanging out, like whatever, doing as I leisure as I could. But there are things that's within this that's going to build within me. It's like tearing down the muscle and building it back up, right? It builds that back stronger. So what are some things that's torn you down in this process that you are now going to come out stronger because of it, because you have embraced change, and now you're going to be better for it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was devastating on every level, especially because this year felt like I was flying. Like I felt like I was flying, and everything was just coming together in every aspect. And so it actually took me a couple weeks to just like get my mind back together and just register what had happened. First and foremost, I had to focus on transferring all of my personal training online. And the biggest lesson for me now is my only focus now is growing my online presence, redoing my website, putting together subscriptions and virtual training packages. And because quite frankly, I don't think we are ever going to go back to the fitness gym culture, or at least not for a very long time.
I think, and I'll let you answer this. What this has done is people that were slow adopters or slow to change or resistant to change have now been forced to change immediately. And they've been changing immediately, especially when you look at larger corporations, in a way that is more nimble like a smaller company, because they've had no choice. And again, that's what I was alluding to earlier. Sometimes these issues force you to change, and you either can embrace it or you can resist it, but the change is necessary. Because you had like Peloton and other things that were already changing how fitness was being ran. You know what I mean? Like people are so apt to want to hold on to their processes and how things have been and how things have worked. But things were already moving. You already had the what is that thing? The little mirror where you can work out in the mirror. And so they were shifting. It just now shifted at 100x as opposed to 5x. But so you're saying you don't think it will ever be the same?
No, I don't. And boutique fitness in general, it has and always has run on numbers. It in order to pay the overhead and to make a studio space successful and have your instructors paid, you have to be packing it out. You want your classrooms to be full. And so walking into a gym and seeing half the amount of spaces are available, but you haven't, the only thing you could do, I guess, is just cut costs in different areas. But at least in my eyes, long term, it's not sustainable.
Gotcha. So you're pivoting everything on. Everything is virtual. How has that been going on? What are you seeing? What is that like? I know for me, well, actually, I was already pivoting anyway. I'm kind of like pivoting the pivot. but I have something coming out on the 18th of this month. Next level. Let me say that. But
Except,
so what are you excited about that's going on? What are you going to be doing? Like what's next with Embrace You? What's next with Abigail Parker? Like
yeah.
what's going on?
I'm very excited. Embrace You. We just added my dear friend Janessa onto the team.
Okay.
So it's Daniel, who's my creative director and designer, and then Janessa is going to be helping with all of the stuff that I hate, which is email, back end, and the details.
There you
Because
go.
I like to just come up with ideas and write captions that I suck at email lists.
Right.
Just I'm terrible at them. It's kind of like the book The E-Myth, what are you good at? What are you not good at?
Where I'm rereading that right now. I don't know if you knew that, if you did that on purpose, but I'm reading that right now because literally, everything I'm doing is requiring me to have systems. And with this new endeavor, it's like I'm doing all the heavy lifting at the beginning and systematizing and coming up with, for a way of doing things for everything that I've never done before in any way. Again, this is something that's been a benefit, from even the sales funnels to the marketing to how many clips I'm going to pull and captions from these podcasts, to how the cadence and the quantity. And then once I get that all done, I got to measure and make sure it works. But literally, this is forcing me to become efficient on a way that I've never been before. And I'm not normally I'm so scatterbrained. It's forcing me to be focused,
Yeah.
on a whole nother level, or organized. I'm always focused, but organized on a whole nother level.
Yes. Same. I mean, that's exactly, my website, Ashley, who runs my personal training site, she said, girl, let's get some Asana up in here. Like, let's start ticking things off and making timelines. And yeah, so I guess a project that I am very excited for is, so Fleet Feet is big sports brand. They do a lot for runners and fitness. So they're partnering with On Running. And so they've asked me to provide workouts for their virtual platform. So this Saturday I got gear. So we're going to do filming down at the track, and I have to do an intro, and then we're clipping all of that for my YouTube channel. So I'm just starting to okay, get a little bit more professional with having consistent content roll out, having more offerings, redoing the website. There's so much to be done. So I'm trying not to get too there's just kind of taking it one day at a time. But
it can be overwhelming, but it's exciting too.
It feels, do you know when you first get a new idea or you start a project and it's whoa,
oh no,
that's literally how it feels. I know this sounds crazy. I love being the underdog and starting something from scratch. I'm like,
no.
oh, this is a challenge. Oh my gosh, sign me
The
up.
climb is
Oh,
the climb is amazing. The climb is amazing. No, I love it too. I know it's and I'm super competitive, so I feel it. So I want before I let you go, I have this thing called branded behavior, and it's either or. You can expand upon. It's quick first thing that comes to your head, and I feel like it gives people a little more insight into who you are, who my guests are as a person, right? So the first question is, and some of them you can expand upon: New York or Portland?
New York.
Why?
There is something about the East Coast energy that I desperately miss, and I love Portland, don't get me wrong,
The pace.
but
I got it.
It's the pace, it's the people,
mentality.
the mentality. All of it, I'd say New York for sure.
Ballet or fitness?
Fitness.
Ooh, running or biking?
Running.
And because I know you were training for a triathlon, running or swimming?
Definitely swimming. I miss it so much.
Yeah.
I miss my swimming.
I can't swim. I'm part of the 50% of black people that can't swim. I can say because I am, in fact, black. Yes, half of us cannot swim. But you know what's been interesting? Since COVID, and I think part of it being in Arizona, I've been what I've been drawn to most is home photos with pools. And I've been obsessed with these like pools and having a pool. And I'm like, damn it, I might now have to learn how to swim. I've had people ask, invite to or say that they would train me for years, and I'm like, nah, not really, whatever. But now I am trying to go to the other 50%. I'm trying to join the other half of us that can swim. So it might be 51-49 after I make the leap. But I might in fact learn how to swim.
Well,
Um,
I think that you would absolutely love it because it's you just get to tune
see,
everything out.
see, that's
You
how I
just
do when I run. When I ran a marathon, people think I'm crazy. I actually didn't mind running inside because of the weather in Portland. And so I would click off like on your long run days, which is Sundays, I'll click off, 13, 14 miles on a treadmill. But it really
totally
doesn't even matter of the distance. When I was running and could run and I was in shape enough where I'm not dying, I would
yes,
literally think of like everything. Like it would be like it literally like a time for
totally.
me to just zone out and I could be like total zen like when I ran. So that's what I loved about it. So for me, favorite workout. What's your favorite workout?
Favorite workout. Well, I've actually been I'm expanding now into a little bit more of some gymnastic stuff. So I'm working on my handstands, getting back a lot of flexibility from dance. So my favorite workout right now is a little bit of HIIT, a ton of core, and then balance challenges. Like I've been like, oh, like can I like balance
That
this
was actually
wall?
three, but I'll
Oh,
say
sorry.
favorite workouts. We'll let it slide. Okay, what's your favorite workout that you love to hate or hate to love? You hate it when you're doing it, but you love it afterwards. Kind of like people that when they train, right?
I would say any Metcon. So anything that would be like 5 really hard moves, 20 minutes, repeat those 5 moves. I mean, those are some of the most brutal workouts. But after you finish, you're just like, yes.
Gotcha. So I can't let you go without this. Obviously, everyone's home, suffering from being at home without doing a workout traditionally how they normally work out. And if they aren't signing up with you, which what they should be doing, we'll put your information down. But if they aren't signing up with you, what are some things that people should be doing at home right now to just stay active, stay in shape, not let the COVID-15 turn into the COVID-30, or reverse the COVID-15 so they get back to where they were prior to when COVID started? What are some quick and easy things they could be doing?
Stairs.
There.
Stairs. 20 minutes a day. Go up and down the stairs as many times as you can. Stairs in your house. Go find a set of stairs. Go do stairs. And then hold a plank afterwards.
For how long?
A minute.
There you go. All right.
That's
Well, Abigail Parker, I appreciate you. We actually took the entire hour. What do you know? So much information. I figured you could talk. And I know I always have, something to say. So
indeed.
yes, always indeed.
Thank you so much. This is great. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Where can the people find you? I have your tag on there. Anything else? Any websites you want to put out there? Plug?
Honestly, right from it's Abigail Parker. I have all my other pages in my bio, so hopefully that's an easy click through.
There you go.
Hopefully.
It's all there. Well, I'm sure you have to train about 15 more people. I have a couple of things going on today, but I appreciate you taking out the time. This has been long overdue. And so you enjoy your weekend in Portland. It is going to be probably 110 in Arizona. It is 90, probably 5 right now. So I'm going to enjoy that. And then I'll be in touch. Yes. Oh, I'm always ice cold.
Totally. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for asking such great questions.
Oh, I thank you. Appreciate you. All right. You have a good day.
You too. Bye.